Welcome back to What the Fertility Season 4. I cannot believe we are already on Season 4. We have our first guest of the season on today. Sam and Alyssa are co-founders of Balanced Friends, which was created in 2018. Sam and Alyssa are integrative health practitioners dedicated to helping people identify and detox from mold, toxic metals, parasites, and gut imbalances. Balanced Friends offers group detoxification, at-home functional medicine lab testing, and consultations. Welcome, Sam. I'm so excited to chat today.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm so glad we could connect. I just love what you ladies are doing here. I feel like this community is it's so special, and you guys are just really providing, a space for people to not feel so alone during a very lonely journey. So I just am so grateful to be a part of this, and I think we'll have a really great conversation here today. I have a lot to share and a little trick at the end. I don't want to forget to say that at the end.
I'm so excited. It is so interesting, and I love that we connected. You started this business with your friend. Amanda and I started our business with our friends. And so I think that'd be, for me, so interesting. How did you guys get into this? I know your Instagram is beautiful for listeners right now. If you want to pause, they're at Balanced Friends with an S. Is that right?
Yep, that's
With an
correct.
S, and you can find them. They do a great job. At the top, they pin who they are, how they started this business. But for listeners, I would just love to know, was this a personal journey? How did you guys connect? Did you know Alyssa? How did that kind of pan out for you?
Well, I'll start by saying we never meant to have a business. I mean, we probably would have picked a different name if we knew it was going to become a business. But anyways, I met Alyssa, it feels like 1,000 years ago, back in dental hygiene school. So we actually have a dental hygiene background, where we got exposed to more of, I guess, the medical side of things, if you will. And then we were roommates there. And then we also were roommates after college, worked at the same dental office. I mean, we were really attached at the hip. And then I had the opportunity to move abroad to Germany for about a year and a half. And we were we were having some mimosas on a train ride to Paris, to be honest. And we decided, oh, let's start a healthy Instagram page. And that way it'll keep our friendship close during, our distance friendship that we were experiencing. And so really around that same time, we were both coming off of 10 years of hormonal birth control. And it also seemed that, so many symptoms were starting to appear during that time. I mean, I had terrible acne. I had skin rashes even around my mouth. I had chest acne, back acne, low mood, painful periods. Like I was experiencing a lot of those types of symptoms. And Alyssa's was definitely more all gut based. I mean, severe constipation, stomach pain. She also would get skin rashes when she ate like gluten or had some champagne. It would just go up her neck. That never happened when we were on our way to Paris, though, because Europe is different. The toxins that
it is.
It's different. So what they ban over there, I really got to see that firsthand. Nobody was struggling with obesity. And they're over there eating, brats and pretzels,
cheese and breads, and it's just not the same.
Yes. So that was really eye-opening as well. And so then when it's just, I guess, around that same time as we were experiencing those symptoms, we also wanted to start preparing our bodies for family. And it was just all by faith that we happened to find a more integrative way of doing things. We implemented it into our own lives. And then once it worked, we were like, oh, great. Now we have to share this with other people. We can't keep it to ourselves because it works.
Yeah, that's beautiful. I want to hear all about how it worked, but you guys were really close. I don't think Amanda and I weren't that close, but that's awesome that you guys are still going. So when you were in Germany and you guys decided that was in 2018, is that right?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
So yeah, and I think that, to be completely transparent, we both have two toddlers. She's currently pregnant with her third boy. Life is really crazy. Our life would probably be a touch easier if we weren't also business owners, but we do it because we absolutely love it and we're helping people, but in a way that we believe in, not like in dental hygiene where it was more medically focused and just a lot of corruption that we don't have to get into right now.
But yeah, and I think a listener is probably listening to your story either had similar experiences to you with coming off the hormonal birth control and having all of these symptoms that probably were there prior to the birth control, but it was just
Mm.
masking it. And then I
Wow.
want to, I'm very interested in kind of hearing your personal story and how that kind of rolled out to, becoming pregnant. And then I would also love to, because I know you guys talk a lot about toxins and mold. I have my own mold story that I would love to get into and kind of hear, maybe as
Yeah.
an example, what you guys would do for somebody that was in my situation.
Sure, absolutely. So mold actually ended up being at the root of a lot of my issues. When we were in Germany, saunas are really like all the craze over there as well. I mean, they will have resorts dedicated to saunas, and there will be like these wet saunas, dry saunas. There's all different kinds. So I was going to more of a wet sauna at our gym that we were using there at the time, and it wasn't even on my radar at that time that it could be mold until I got introduced to the lab testing that we actually use in our practice. So I ran a 2 lab combo. Now I think the name is Detox lab test, but it's basically there to identify toxins in the body, whether it's mold, gut issues, metal toxicity, and it's also there to uncover deficiencies as well. Because those often will go hand in hand. If you have a gut imbalance, you are not absorbing the nutrients from even your supplements as well, from your food as well. Even though you're doing a lot of things correctly, your body can't use it if the gut is not working. So then we see the deficiencies. So I was definitely suffering from all of those things, but mold was at the forefront for me. I actually have dealt with mold twice because I've been in my home now for a little over 2 years, and we had a leak in our master bathroom. And literally, when we ripped it open, there was just mold everywhere. So I have a really beautiful bathroom now because I had to renovate it, but that wasn't really what I had planned, moving here. But I
Yeah.
was experiencing symptoms like a lot of mine mimicked more like allergy symptoms, like a chronic postnasal drip. I had a lot of my skin always just purges. I always get the acne, rashes, brain fog was more of what I was experiencing. What were some
I
of
was
your
gonna
symptoms?
say that is so interesting. And I think too for listeners just to hear that, like you had symptoms, I had none. So mine was I was probably, let's say I was like a year and a half into trying to conceive. And all of the listeners know, I'm not sure if you do, I have recurrent pregnancy loss. So I'm losing all of these pregnancies. There's no diagnosis. So I am like going to everyone and anyone. And I went to an integrative health practitioner. And one of the first tests she ran was probably something that you can kind of share with us too, like your functional at home test. It was a
Mhm,
huge panel, and one of them was mold, and
mhm.
everything came back normal. And my mold was through the roof. I mean, it was like
Same.
out, and I'm like,
Yeah,
what? And so I
yeah.
started to try to think of like, where could this be coming from? And same with the leak. There was a leak in my car. So I had like a car that I would spend. I mean, I commuted, this was before 2020. I would commute an hour one way. So 2 hours in the car every single day
Mhm.
for years, right? I had
Right,
this leak.
right.
I think I had the leak in April. And by the end of the year was when I had the mold test. We ended up taking it into the dealer and saying, hey, I tested positive, like really positive for mold. Would you guys just take a look?
Mhm.
My car was totaled, completely totaled. I had so much mold in my car,
Oh
in the
my
floorboard,
gosh.
in the side. I got a brand new car. And granted, this is something that I'm so interested in. Maybe you have the answer, maybe you don't. But like what my functional practitioner told me was, this is going to take a long time to get out of your body. It's not like you do this 30-day detox and you're done. And it's just a process, and mold is really scary. And it sounds like, I mean, you and I both experienced that.
Yes, it's definitely a process, but that journey is going to be very different for everybody because we are all so different. For example, I think there is a gene mutation that a lot of us have now, that I think is also common in this fertility space, the MTHFR gene mutation, because you also need, that folate, and you need more
Mhm.
of it to prevent the birth defects, excuse me, in the spina bifida
Yeah.
situation. But with MTHFR, that also comes with poor detoxification as well. So my husband and I were both exposed to the same stuff. Hayden's his levels were fine. Like his body
So
did
interesting.
naturally detox it. And hey, that's great for him. My body does not detox mold very well. So I have done a mold detox 2 times, but I think what makes it difficult is not only how your body like detoxes, like if your detox pathways are open, your own kind of unique processes there. That's part of it. But then the other part is, yeah, where's the exposure coming from? Are you consistently being exposed? Until you find the source, it will be difficult to heal. And if you're having a hard time finding the source, you need to contact somebody for help, but you also may need to detox more frequently.
I love that. And I think that just kind of speaks volumes too. For me, I had no symptoms. I had no idea. And I think a lot of
Mhm.
listeners don't have diagnoses, or they're just trying to
Right.
conceive and they haven't even gotten to like a reproductive endocrinologist. It's so beautiful that you guys offer something where just ship it to my house and like we'll test you for everything. And if it's not a problem, it's not a problem. Check it off and like keep
Right.
moving. But I would
Right.
have never known. And I don't know. I did detox and I did, get pregnant with my daughter ultimately,
Mhm.
but was that it? I don't know. But regardless, I had a ton of mold in my body and I'm really glad that it's
Yes.
gone.
Right. And that's the really tricky thing about fertility. And what we see in a lot of our fertility clients is it's all about trial and error. We can run the labs to get a more clear cut path, but we also need to find that perfect recipe for you. And the only way to do that is to try. So I do believe that getting the mold out of my body, because same as you, it was literally off the charts. I was like, whoa, this is no other marker was even that high. It was
Yeah.
that mold was crazy. And
Yeah.
so the way that actually impacts your fertility is that's automatically going to shift your body into that fight or flight state. And your body's job is to keep you alive first. It will not bring on another life if it is under attack. Like it's just not going to happen. So having these hidden, toxicities in the body, if you can address those through lab testing and then go through detoxes to get them out of the body, then you're freeing up all that beautiful energy, reminding your body, I am safe and I am okay. And you can't control the stressors of when your toddler's yelling at you. That's not going to go anywhere. But
Right.
these hidden stressors, we can begin to address and lift them from the body so that your body can function a bit more effectively.
So I love that you guys you identify it, you have the testing that you can offer, and then you also do the detox portion. Because I think that was something that I lacked, right? Like I had all these tests and I'm like, oh, great, I have insane levels of mold. What do I do? And then they're kind of like, I mean, you could do this, you could do that. So what does like your group
Yes.
detox programs look like?
Okay, such a great question. And I'm so glad you asked because I actually feel like that's a big part of what sets us apart from maybe some of the other people in this integrative space is all of our detox boot camps. They come with a very clear cut path to follow. I'm talking recipes, like you get a full guide of recipes, toxin education, so that you can figure out, okay, where could this be coming from? How can I eliminate, my exposures, or how can I lower them? We also talk about how to get through the detox, how you can expect to feel, and then how to maintain. We recently just switched this up kind of throughout the last year. We were doing a mix of move at your own pace with recorded support videos and then community situation. But we found that people don't want to wait for the community live one because they don't feel good. They want help now. They wanted it
Yeah.
yesterday.
Yeah.
So we have now shifted all of our boot camps just to move at your own pace so that people can adopt them as soon as they're ready. But it has the built-in recorded videos. And then if, any kind of die-off reactions happen during a detox, then the client can always reach out because even though everybody may be, working on their gut, for example, when you're going through a detox like that and you're doing something with the gut, everybody's kind of reaction to a detox is going to be different, even though we're
Right.
doing similar things. We don't know how your body's going to respond until we're in that process.
So how long does that, I mean, I think it's great for fertility, it's great for hormone health, but oh my gosh, so many women. And if you go like on your Instagram, I think it was Alyssa's story about gut, like how she just was struggling and gets that IBS dot, like you have
Yeah,
IBS, sorry, deal with it, right?
yeah.
So like how long, and I'm sure they're different for everybody, what does that standard like just detox program look like? Is it a week, 3 weeks, 4 weeks?
Sure. So I have three detox boot camps that I really love for fertility, and it's really a recipe that we've seen work time and time again. We like to kind of start off with that 7-day liver detox, and the reason we do that is because when you support your liver, you're supporting your body's filter. Can our body detox naturally? Yes, we just talked about that with my husband, but in today's world, we were never meant to keep up with this amount of toxins. So we all kind of have that little toxin threshold, if you will. And you never know when you're going to get to that tipping point where your body's going to experience symptoms, and it'll be different versus somebody else. But that 7-day program is more of a full body purge, literally dumping years and years of toxins. Aside from dumping the toxins, helping the body feel safe, it also begins to replenish some of the nutritional deficiencies. So clients will start to experience more energy, weight loss. We've had clients do that and they've lost 10 pounds of inflammation and weight and fat. Like, it's
Sure.
incredible.
Yeah.
And, when you have extra fat on your body, then there's also that extra estrogen happening. A lot of hormones are processed in the liver. So when you support the liver, it's actually a big deal. Some of our clients will get pregnant right after that, or a few cycles after that. It's also been shown to help shrink some of these clients' cycles. So that one's a good kind of overall purge. Great place to start, more affordable place to start. And it's quick because, when you want to get pregnant, you're like, I wanted to get pregnant yesterday.
Yes. Yeah. And that was my whole thing with like the whole mold thing. She's like, okay, I can give you these. Okay, you might know what they're called. They were like bee pollen pills or something. I swear they're still in my pantry. But it was like this 90-day thing of like taking some like weird bee pollen. And then she was like, and then you can figure this other stuff out on your own. I'm like, I don't even know where to start. I don't want to wait 4 months to try again.
Yeah, no. That's not at all how we do things. But I feel like that's
Yeah.
that's common, really.
Yeah.
And that's the same thing that Alyssa ran into when she was trying to get help for her gut. And then this, supposedly more natural person gave her a script for antibiotics. Like, okay,
Yeah.
no, that's not what that doesn't feel right.
Right.
So
Right.
again, that's also what kind of pushed us to where we're at today. So the gut really would be the next best boot camp for fertility because, well, and that one, honestly, you want the support. It is the longest one we have. It is 3 months, but it really takes that long to do it correctly, to
Yeah.
go in there, wipe out that candida overgrowth, wipe out that harmful bacteria, and then to replenish all that good gut bacteria, and then to also heal and seal up that gut lining. So the reason that's important is, of course, you're going to be able to absorb your nutrients better, but also, food sensitivities could be another source of unnecessary stress on the body. And food sensitivities can happen when your gut is leaky. These food particles and protein particles are getting into your bloodstream. They have no business being there. So we don't want the gut to be leaky. We want to, again, eliminate as much stress as we can. We want your body to absorb the nutrients because then, in turn, you're going to have better egg quality for the men, better sperm quality. We're going to get the inflammation down. We're going to get healthy blood flow to the uterus. There's so many good things that happen when you correct the gut. And then so many of the hormonal things also can stem from the gut. So it is also very common for our clients to get pregnant either shortly after that or literally during that boot camp. That seems to happen. So when that happens during the camp, we say, okay, no detox is safe during pregnancy, stop right away. And then we shift over to just pregnancy support supplementation to make sure that we're getting the deficiencies under control.
I love that. And I think people that have gut issues, and gosh, I mean, I know it's like 2024 and we're probably, I don't know how old you are, but like I'm in my like low 30s. And I
Same.
feel like, yeah, I feel like everybody in our generation had gut issues, whether that was just, I mean, I think that probably 99% of listeners can say, yeah, I had gut issues, or I had bloating, or I had, constipation, or I thought I had IBS. And so I think for anybody, take 90 days and do something like that. And I just love, again, how you guys not only do the detox, but then you just retox, or if I just say like you just you're making sure that you get the right stuff in there. And it's kind of like after taking an antibiotic, you take your probiotic. It's not just like, let me strip you down and start over. I love that.
Right. Yeah. The gut one is really huge. And I actually just read 7 lab tests yesterday. Common theme across the board: deficiencies, gut issues. And then my next one that I think is huge is the metals. These
Yeah.
toxic metals. I'm really shocked with what I'm seeing on these labs. We've been doing this for close to 6 years now. We see clients all over the country. So, I mean, literally all different backgrounds, all different kinds of people. These metals are out of control. I have never seen a lab test that doesn't have elevation in metals.
Oh,
And the 2 most common are your mercury and your aluminum. So when you think about, the silver dental fillings are an issue, the aluminum in the deodorant, are you cooking your food in aluminum foil? That sort of thing. So those are what I was used to seeing elevated over maybe the last 4 years. But now over the last kind of 2 years or so, I'm seeing more lead, arsenic, cadmium, and that's honestly,
Where does that come from? This is wild.
ugh, I know it's so prevalent in our environment. I mean, arsenic is also in rice. A lot of people are like, oh, rice is healthy. And yes, it is healthy. I'm not going to tell you
In
not to eat rice.
moderation. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so, but that's just one example. They're really in many different places. But my issues really with these metals is they actually go back about 4 generations. So even though you're maybe not cooking your food in aluminum foil, or you've switched to your natural deodorant, that's wonderful. Those are helpful. But you can't control what, your parents did or their parents.
Sure.
And the reason it's so dangerous because it does cross the blood-brain barrier and the placenta. So, and these are considered neurotoxins. Like, this is a big deal. So when you think about, I'm just going to pick on the dental field because of my background, they're working around these silver fillings, these mercury fillings, they're getting these exposures. They have the #1 suicide rate, or at least they did at the time I was going through my
Yeah.
education.
No, you're
There's
so
gotta
spot
be
on.
something
Yeah.
there. Okay, what is the uptick with these, birth defects and this autism? There's something there and it needs to be addressed. So I think even just like a peace of mind, knowing that, you get those out ahead of time is
Yep.
really a big deal. So with a person or a client who's maybe like, again, I wanted to get pregnant yesterday, like, what can I do? For them, it would be the 7-day detox and go right into that metals detox boot camp. That's 8 weeks. And you don't have to do a lot with your diet, but you purge those out and just kind of be on your way. But I think is so important. The metals.
Yeah, the metal toxins, that is, I mean, I've been like all into like the microplastics lately and just, like the cutting boards and all the stuff that's out there. And I think,
Yeah.
I don't know if you guys read it, but starts with an egg. That's one of the things that they have in the book
Love,
is,
love.
detox. And to your point, you can be doing everything. You can switch to glass, Tupperware containers. You can change your cooking oil. You can
Right.
throw out all your plastic water bottles. But, it's something that you don't think about. That stuff can be carried generations to generations and just having, okay, so I don't know if you're able to share if it like would like blow up people doing their actual detox plan, but like what's something you would do if I came to you and said, and my lab showed that I had crazy high lead and I don't know, mercury. Like what are some steps that you can take? Because I know you said it's not necessarily diet based.
So we would make minor tweaks to the diet versus like a gut can't. There's a little more work to be done on the diet portion because we also don't want to feed, this bad gut bacteria and
Yeah.
candida. But when it comes to the detox of the metals, that one's pretty straightforward. It's more supplement based where
Okay.
in the supplements, it's a blend of, vitamins, but also herbs. And what it'll do, well, because everything in our practice is natural, no, we have some pretty high standards in that regard. But anyways, so it'll be a blend of supplement and herbs, and it's designed to pull these metals out of the body to get them to free up and release. But if you get on Dr. Google, you might learn, okay, then you just have all these like metals free floating, and that's dangerous. Yes, it is dangerous. So it's important that you're also doing a quality binder. So our program will come with that quality binder. And that is basically I think of it kind of like a sponge. You swallow, it's just another capsule. You swallow it, and it's going to help to bind up these toxins that are being released so you actually can remove them from the body.
That is like, I feel like everything you shared is so top notch because you're right. I look at like metal detox and it's like, yeah, that's great. But then it's just all free floating in your body. So that's incredible. I've never even heard about a binder. That's awesome.
And you need to just work with really somebody who knows what they're doing and somebody who really can create a good program for you because really with one of the lab tests that we offer, the one that will check for these metals, it also will check for like your minerals. And a lot of people don't realize that these minerals also need to be balanced. So for example, during the latest pandemic, a lot of people were taking zinc because that's what we were told. And that is a great thing for your immune system, but it works against copper. And if your copper's low, you're going to have a whole nother set of issues, whether it's premature gray hair, thyroid things. I mean, things need to be balanced. It's so much more than just, okay, you're low in your zinc. Here's your zinc pill and send you on your way. It doesn't work like that. It shouldn't work like that. We
That
need
is
to know
so,
exactly
yeah,
what's going
that is
on.
so interesting. So what is the
Mhm.
mineral what is okay, my husband is 40 and he is like almost fully gray on his hair. And his dad was like, but I'm like, do you now have like low copper? It'd be so interesting. So
Yes,
he actually,
probably.
yeah. So I know all about leaky gut syndrome through him.
Mhm.
Psoriatic arthritis. So his is like a gut-based arthritis. And he
Oh,
has fully cured that over the last, I would say like 8 to 10
right.
years from diet alone and some
Amazing.
supplementation. But you know, his background is he's a nutritionist, so he has that
Wonderful.
background. But I'd
Mhm.
be so interested, like everything that you're sharing, I feel like would just be whether you're trying to conceive or not, would be so beneficial just for your everyday health. Like get the test, see
Yeah.
like get your blueprint of what your body looks like today,
Mhm.
and then if you need a detox, go ahead and do that. I love this. This is so cool.
Thank you. Yeah, I've never had a client, run a lab and they're like, well, I wish I would have never done that. No, everybody's
Right.
always happy. They actually get a sense of relief because they're like, now it makes sense. I'm not crazy. I can connect all these dots. Like, because I guess the other tricky side of things is a lot of these symptoms can overlap.
Yep.
So what is causing the brain fog? What's causing the low mood? What's going on with the fertility? What
Yeah.
can we identify and to give us, yeah, a good roadmap to move forward with? I will say the only time I wouldn't recommend running specifically maybe one of these labs would be if you feel like you're in a spot in your fertility journey where the information will impact your mental health in a bad way, where you feel like you don't want to give yourself that time to get right. In that case, well, let's get on some good quality supplements that we know, like it starts with the egg. We adopt a lot of those recommendations in our practice. Let's get on some of those really good quality supplements, and then let's just do the liver detox for 7 days. That's a great path forward for a lot of people. So really in our practice, the client is really in charge. We are there to just guide them. And then whatever they want to adopt, however they want to adopt it, they have our support. It's
I
totally
love
fine.
that you said that because so many people, and myself included, you're at a point in your fertility journey where like too much information can just paralyze you.
Too
And
much. Yeah.
I love that. And I think that's so great that you guys offer smaller, smaller paths too. Like, hey, it's a week. Like, why don't we just run this test? And if it comes up, do it for a week. I love that. Well,
Yeah. Or you can
I've
just
learned,
take it slow.
yeah, I would say I've learned so much. What have we missed? What have we not dug into?
Well, let's see. We talked about, I would say if somebody's looking for just a more easy, affordable, literally less than $100 lab test to even start with that you can even benefit from with a positive pregnancy test, right away. Vitamin D. We have to check the vitamin D. Again,
Crazy.
it's
Mine,
crazy.
yeah, mine was like, I learned so much about vitamin D. Mine, I think, was in the 30s. And you think like, oh, 30, that's great. I think like from your OB, that actually shows that it's in range. But don't you want it to be like 60 and above?
That you hit the nail on the head with that one. Yes, you have
Yeah,
done your research,
I
and
have.
I'm proud of you because
Yeah.
you know what? Nobody's looking out for you. You got to be your own health advocate. That's the way it works. Like,
Yeah.
it's
And
unfortunate, but
it
yeah,
actually can cause like it can cause miscarriage. It can
miscarriages.
cause infertility, and people don't
Mhm.
know. And in Start with an Egg, it does talk about that. But I think like what's the supplement for vitamin D? Is it 5,000 something?
So that's where I like the lab test because we can actually see how depleted you are because that dosing will be different
Smart.
per person depending on how depleted you really are. And like we just got snow this morning. It snowed before Thanksgiving here. There's snow outside. The
Where
sky
are
is
you?
completely gray. I'm in Indiana.
Okay, okay, that's so nice. It's like 55. I'm in Charleston.
Oh, I'm gonna visit there. I heard it's so
Yeah,
beautiful.
yeah,
But anyways, it's like a dark season. I'm not getting much vitamin D right now.
right.
So, you want to know your levels. I would say as a good maintenance dose, we go around 4 to 5,000. But if somebody's really depleted or again, recurrent miscarriages, then we want to boost that body at least for the next 90 days
Yeah.
with about 10,000, just short term.
I like feel
And
like I need to go take it right now. Can you take it when you're pregnant?
yes, you can. That would be one
Okay.
that's like saved during pregnancy, just to have that information. You're like, especially if you are on like, your IVF journey and so on and so
Yeah.
forth. It's like, I've literally invested so much in this journey already. I want like my best. I want to put my
Yeah.
best foot forward. So yeah, we work with clients, leading up to IVS or IVF, excuse me, their IUI, if they're trying to work on the egg quality, or when they get pregnant, they want to know what they can continue with, or, we kind of support them,
And you
whatever
work
they're
with
looking for.
partners too, because I'm thinking of one of my really dear friends, and her husband had cancer when he was young. And so he has a biological child. If she's listening, she's like, thanks for sharing my life. But he had a biological child, and now they're really struggling. So they're going to move into IUI. But this would be so interesting to meet with her because she has she personally has nothing, but I bet they both would be super interested. So I'll share this kind
Yeah,
of with them.
thank you. I feel like the couples, when, if you can do it together, it makes the biggest difference because you're working on the egg quality and the sperm quality at the same time. And you're just both working on your overall health together. And we go back to, a lot of the fertility stuff gets pitted on the woman. I think we're seeing more of the men taking ownership with the sperm, being in
Yeah.
trouble. But it's when you go through a journey like what we offer, you can do it together. You're doing the same things. You get that support at home and also through us, but you don't feel so alone anymore because you're
And
like, we're both doing it together.
yeah,
We're feeling better.
and if you're a spouse, you're probably living in the same environment, eating the
Right.
same types of food. You
Yes.
probably both need to do it.
Yes, it is. That is where we see our biggest success is when it's a team partnership. But that doesn't mean that we haven't had other just women be
Sure.
successful too. We definitely have. So yeah, but I do find that, if you can have that support system at home, you can't be the only person in your house trying to make these changes. It's really difficult.
It is.
You need the help.
I
Like
learned
with
so,
time.
so much. Okay, so I think the best way for our listeners to get to you, and I know we mentioned at the beginning, is Instagram your best avenue because you have your link there to your website and everything, or is there a better way?
Yes, Instagram is typically where most of our clients reach out to us, direct message. You also can visit our website, balancefriends.com, send us an email, and contact us through our website as well, whatever seems to be, the easiest way. It doesn't matter. A lot of people try to avoid Instagram, especially if maybe they're struggling. They don't want to be exposed to some of those things.
Yep.
So either way.
I love it. Well, I learned so much. I'm gonna go take my vitamin D. What else
Good
do
girl.
I need? I
And
might be.
vitamin D with the K. You got to make sure you
Oh,
got to
wait.
remember that.
This before we leave. There's a
Oh,
vitamin
yeah.
A.
So you want to take them together. I mean, some will not have the vitamin or K2 with it.
Oh,
Um, and that assumption would be that you're taking your vitamin D maybe with a multivitamin at the same time. Maybe your
okay.
multivitamin has the K, but the K is there to just help the vitamin D get to where it needs to be, and so that it's not harmful. It keeps it in the right place in your body.
Okay, I love that. And I bet that's in a lot of like prenatal vitamins, right? Like they probably put the D and the K together.
It would depend on the
The
vitamin. There's a
vitamin.
lot of not great vitamins out there.
Do you
Things are
like,
not regulated.
you don't have to answer. Do you like Rituals vitamins?
Actually, I've heard great things about ritual vitamins.
Okay.
I personally haven't taken them, but really you just want the best like methylated
Yeah.
forms, you want
They
oh,
have
you
the
want good
methylated
dosage.
folate. I bet you would love them.
Perfect.
All of their stuff is super organic and it tells you
Oh,
exactly where
love
it's
it.
coming from. That
And
and then
third party
yeah.
tested.
Yes.
Is
Yeah.
everything great? Wonderful.
That's
Love
awesome.
that.
Okay, sorry, that was a little tangent. Okay, I
Oh, you're
learned
good.
a ton. I am so thankful that you were on today. Is there anything else that we didn't talk about that you want listeners to know?
No, I think we had a great conversation. Thank you so much for having me. I'm just always rooting for you guys all the time. So I'm in your
Thank you
corner.
so much.